Arsenal's season has suddenly entered a fragile phase where optimism is tempered by a string of medical question marks. The electric moment of Martin Odegaard returning and helping spark a late comeback felt like confirmation that Mikel Arteta's plan was on track. Yet beneath that joy, a worrying pattern has emerged. Several important signings and a talismanic forward are on the mend, not in the ways. Noni Madueke was withdrawn after a knee issue, and while scans reportedly avoided the worst-case anterior cruciate ligament diagnosis, the injury still represents a material setback for a wide player brought in this summer to add pace and unpredictability. Kai Havertz, who underwent knee surgery, is said to be walking freely and starting to load the knee in controlled steps, but his comeback is being measured in weeks to months, a timeline that forces Arteta to avoid sprinting the German back too quickly. Pierre Hincapie's omission from recent matchday squads has raised eyebrows. The Ecuadorian's absence hasn't been fully explained in public and leaves a hole in a defensive rotation that looked set to strengthen the side. Finally, Gabriel Jesus remains in lengthy rehabilitation from surgery, with the medical expectation placing him some way off full team returns, likely into the winter window, a reality that strips Arsenal of an experienced central forward option when margins at the top are smallest. Taken together, these absences test more than individual recoveries. They expose the depth and flexibility of the entire squad. With Odegaard and Bukayo Saka available again, creative responsibility recenters through those two, but the balance of minutes, rotations and formations will demand shrewd management. Will Arteta pivot toward a narrower midfield overload or ask wide players and younger options to shoulder more of the attacking tempo? There will be fixtures when the manager must decide whether protecting recovering players is worth sacrificing immediacy on the pitch, and those choices will define how many points are picked up while the injured return. The medical updates themselves carry nuance. Madueke avoiding an ACL is relief but not a clean bill of health. Knee complaints can linger and reoccur. Havertz's gradual loading is encouraging but doesn't erase the risk of setback. Hincapie's unexplained absence is a real unknown that could be short-term or more serious, and Jesus' long rehab is the clearest long-term concern. Each case will need tailored management, and the club's medical team will be under pressure to provide clear, credible timelines. For fans and neutrals following the title race, the consequence is blunt. Arsenal's crown charge will be determined not only by the brilliance of the starters, but by who steps into the breach without costing identity. That could mean meaningful minutes for players who were signed as squad options, tactical tweaks that expose either newfound resilience or fragility, and a season narrative that shifts from celebration to survival and back depending on recovery speeds. There is also a governance question. Heavy investment in one window raises expectations, and when several major pieces are unavailable at once, it demands a look at conditioning, workload planning, and whether the bench was built with enough balance to withstand injury spikes. The immediate takeaway is simple and urgent. Monitor recovery timelines closely, because weeks matter at this stage of the season. Arsenal have the talent to absorb short storms, but football is unforgiving, and a run of results without key names could tilt momentum and confidence. How Arteta manages minutes, who emerges as the next reliable option, and whether medical updates follow optimistic forecasts will together decide whether this is a brief wobble or a campaign-defining crisis. If you think Arsenal can navigate this, or if you fear these absences will cost them the top spot, make your view heard. The coming fixtures will reveal not only who is fit, but what kind of team Arsenal truly are when tested.